Hi again, it's Laura, coming back to show you more stuff on the calculator. Still kind of introductions, some of the other buttons that we haven't discovered yet, before we get into like mathematical things, like how to do actual things from the textbook. So yeah, let's go. Let's turn it on, going into home. So on top left, home button is next to it, our on button. I'm going to go into calculate. So to go into the calculate app, I've got choices. I can either press OK, which is in the middle of these cursors. I can press execute, or I can press number 1. I'll try that. I never do that. I don't know why. That takes me in. I've already got some things there from playing around. Oh, I've just realized that it's turned pi radians into 180 degrees. I was messing around with that earlier. So first of all, just to talk about this line at the top, that's called the status bar, according to Casio. And that's sort of the general form that it will take. Did I change it into degrees? I think it would naturally be in radians. I remember with the previous calculator, if it restarted, it would all, or when it started, it would always be in radians. But actually, I don't know if I've messed around with that. So that could be degrees, it could be radians. I've currently got it in degrees. I'm going to show you how to change that around in a minute. Hang on, let's get... sorry, I'm pressing things. Normal one, fraction mode like that, and real numbers. Like that's the standard stuff. I wouldn't mess around with that too much. Okay, so let's talk about some of these buttons that I've been pressing. So we've got cursor buttons here, up, down, left, and right, and OK in the middle. So I've got some things already on my screen. If I wanted to, for some reason, go back up to the top there, I can use the up cursor. Say I want to go in and edit that. So I'm using the left and right cursors once I've like highlighted the sum or the line of calculations that I'm working with. I can use the left and right to go in, and then I can use this button next to the AC button to delete things. So that's kind of like a delete button there. And I guess I can press execute. I'm not sure what will happen. It always kind of brings you down to the bottom. So yeah, execute. I don't know if I can do OK. Let's try. So if I go up to here and then use the right cursor to get in, delete that. If I press OK, yeah, OK does the same kind of thing. For those of you that are interested in where I got that little R for radians, because I don't think I knew how to do that before. I've been having a little play. If I go back up, so I'm using the up and down or up to get up there, and then the right or the left to go to where I want to go. Let's see if I can remember. That was catalogue. I'm going to talk about some of these things in a minute. That's the catalogue button. And I went all the way down to angle coordinate sexa, which is sexagesimal, which is converting into decimals into hours and minutes and seconds. So instead of a base of 10, a base of 60. Again, you see the letter and the numbers here. If I wanted to get that another way than pressing OK, I could press alpha and A, which to me seems a madness, but you know. So I could press OK or execute, or whatever, OK. And then I just went into, I pressed the radians button. And so it brought up a little unit of radians, the R. Which actually, the unit of radians I always thought was a little C. So I'm not sure about that one. Let's do a degrees one in a minute. This is not what I meant to do, but we're here, so we're doing it. Right, let's come back out. So I'm using this button here to come out. So what happened there was it turned it into degrees. I'm still getting to know. I mean, a lot of this stuff isn't super useful for A-level maths. Like, I want to focus on the things that we are actually going to need as we're doing the stuff for the syllabus, but things come up. Let's try, right, if I put 180 degrees, so 180 typed in catalogue, all the way down. I guess, I'm going to show you another way to go quicker through them. Angle, execute, let's type degrees. Oh, just turns it into degrees. I guess that's because I'm in degrees up here. What if I change that? Settings. Yes, settings. It's still taking me a while, and I have been sat trying to learn what's in each one. I think it's just going to take a while to get used to that. So I'm in angle. Part of it is just having confidence to try, right? Like go into a section and be like, no, it didn't look like this when I found it last time. Just it's not the end of the world. We just come out again. So click on angle and let's change to radians. So just to show that again, I highlighted the one I want. I've gone to the angle, pressed OK, and then pressed radian. So that would give me all my angles in radians, or work with radian angles to give me calculations answers. I've pressed execute. Oh, I need to, oh, see this, I do this. I need to press come out. So I need to press this like getting back button. Pressing execute 5 times just takes you round and round. So I'm leaving. Now if I go up here, so if I highlight this 180 and then press OK. Oh, I didn't change. It's still in degrees. Right. Now escape. Up here, so I've highlighted the 180, press OK, and it changes it to pi. Beautiful. Okay, let's leave that because we weren't meant to be doing that anyway. I've kind of talked about the use of OK and execute. They're like commands, right? Like, please do this for me, like enter or whatever. We've talked about the arrows. You know, say I've got more going on, like I do sine of, talked about this, always opening up the angle for you, after you've put the trigonometry in. I don't know, 2x plus, what am I in radians? Pi by 4. Let's practice. Where's pi? Pi is shift and 7. Let's make that a fraction. Pi by 2. Right, so hopefully you've followed what I've just typed sine in. Sine is here. The bracket opens automatically. I've done 2, and then to get x, like the algebraic x, which also can be theta or t, depending on what you're in, parametrics or polar things. I'm not sure, I haven't got to that far yet, but you press that, and then I did plus, and then pi was shift and 7, and then the fraction button here to make it pi over 2, and then I close the brackets, and that gives me, how does that give me an answer of 1? I don't know why it says 1. I don't know what x is, but what I just wanted to do is show you the use of arrows, right? So I'm going back up. I can scooch along. Let's say I want to delete all of that. So I'm using the cursors, to go in, left and right. I'm using this arrow here next to the AC button, next to number 9, the like arrow to the left with a cross, and it deletes for me. Okay, there we go. I think that's why it was giving me 1, because I didn't understand what I was talking about with 2x. Right, so we've kind of talked about this button. This is the like going back a layer. So if you're deep in layers of things that you've gone into in menus and you just want to get back out, you use this. Let's talk about the tab buttons. So in the calculation mode, you will automatically come up on calculation mode, right? Oops, gone dark. If I press this tab, it will take me across to vector. So if you see it's calculation, then vector. And if I go again, it will take me into matrix mode. And I think that's it. So then it cycles around. So there's like 3 pages there, calculation, vector, matrix. And the tab just takes you to all 3. I'll go into more detail about what can be done in those when I get to the chapters that relate to vectors, and then matrices is further maths. But up here, you've got these little tool, that symbol there relates to this button, tools. So it's saying there are things that you can do here with the tools button. I've gone into tools, I want to get out, so I just press back. Oh, I can't go back anymore, so I can tab across to calculation. So vectors, matrices, calculation, cycling around, these arrows here, more arrows. These are kind of like skipping, rather than skipping one by one through a menu option, they skip in chunks. And when you're in this page, they take you to the top. Oh, not always the top. They kind of, sometimes they take you to the middle. They kind of just take you quicker through. So I'm at pi, which is right at the top. If I do that, it didn't see, then it's taken me to the bottom. It seemed to take me sort of halfway on the way up, didn't it? Strange. But anyway, it just jumps you quicker than one by one. Let's talk about the catalog button now. So catalog button is here. This is where, for those of us who are used to the CG50, this is where things like integration, differentiation, solve n, absolute, permutations, combinations, NCR, stuff like that. This is generally in here. And this history thing is kind of cool because this was bugging me. This whole depth of this going in here was bugging me to start with. Like, everything is hard to find. But so a big thing that I would loved using on the other calculator was solve n, which if you go into function analysis, and this is the other thing I don't love about it, is it's still hidden under layers, but we're just getting used to it. So function analysis, press OK to get in there. And this is where you have like your derivatives, second, integration, summing, solve n. Right, so I get solve n. Oh, do you know what? I'm going to clear the page because it's bugging me that it's a bit of a mess. So to clear the screen, I go into tools and I'm going to delete all. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. But so catalog, function analysis, catalog looks like a book. It's kind of like, this is your manual where all your things are done. It's not quite how it is, but function analysis, solve n, and then I'll get that. So I won't show you what that does yet because the video is already going to be too long. But then this is what's cool. If I go into that catalog, if I go to history and pin, it will show me what I have used recently, right? And those are the 3 things I've used recently. And these 2 weren't even in the catalog. They were in settings, but they're still there. And I can pin them, right? So if I press OK, oh, no, don't press OK. Now I've got solve n within solve n. Oi, 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 oi. Catalog, pin. I think, what do I have to press? Tools, maybe. There you go. So in order to action the pinning, it's just not intuitive to me, but it's taking a while, right? I press the 3 dots. The 3 dots relate to the tools button. Yeah, so I can pin that, which means if I go back, that when I want to use something that I've used recently, rather than scrolling perhaps all the way down in here in the different layers, I'll just know like, oh, okay, go in here and there'll be the things that I use on a regular basis, which is quite helpful. I mean, I don't imagine I'll use these on a regular basis, but we've put them in there, but I haven't pinned them. Right, let's go. So I'm going back a layer. So you can also, remember I talked about these buttons being skipping like large chunks. I can do that here, so I can skip down. You see how it's jumped me straight from there to there, and then again I'll come straight down, and then it kind of goes back round again. Oh, I can't go all the way around. I can only go up again. But it just jumps through them a bit quicker than if I was doing... get back to the front. If I was doing this, it goes one by one. Okay. Let's see what else we've got in here. So function analysis, derivatives, we talked about that already. You kind of saw that. I haven't tried all these things because, you know, when I get to them, when I need them, I'll find them. It's too much to like learn everything when there's no purpose for it, personally. Probability, that's where your factorial, your permutations, combinations are. Let's try that. So that the factorial will come up when you press it, so you kind of need to use the cursor to go back. Catalog, so then if I go in history, that will be there, and I can pin it so it stays at the top with the solve n. I do quite like that. Where did I go? Probability. So if I want to do NCR for binomial expansion or something, press OK. So you need to go here and get rid of that. So if I wanted to do 5, choose 2. It will tell me the answer there. And then if I go into catalog, history, I'll have that there. So I could pin that to keep it on the top and not move away as I use other things. So these will gradually fall off. I think you can fit 5. Let's try putting another one and see if the radians falls off. Catalog. Let's do numeric. This will give us absolute. So if we want to draw a modulus graph, we just want to find the absolute value of something. So I can put absolute of -8. Actually, this is a good chance to show you where the negative number is rather than the subtraction. So negative is here in the turquoise. So I press shift and then that to give me -8, give me 8. If I go back into catalog, history pin, yeah, so I've got absolute as my most recent. Oh no, the radians is still there. Okay, nice. The catalog and the tools are different depending on what apps you're in. So if we go to home, when I'm in equation, I need to be in one of these modes. Tools doesn't work there. Tools will now work. So when I was in that layer before here, if I press tools, nothing happens, right? If I've gone into there and I've put some coefficients in, and then I press tools, oh, let's go back a layer. If I press tools, it gives me options to edit or delete. That's kind of what tools does generally. Edits, deletes lines, deletes whole things. It did something with matrices as well. We'll figure that out. Catalogue. Let's try catalogue. Comes up there. I think, I haven't tried everything yet, but I think catalogue is basically the same through all the different apps. Like that has not changed from when we were in the calculate app and we're in the polynomial equation app. All right, that hasn't changed. But it's not always available. I was in some apps. This one maybe. And it's not, it doesn't let me go in. Okay, so I'm pressing catalogue and nothing happens. And then these things, that's not from catalogue though, I don't think. Oh, I can change the colour. Yeah, that's just come from me pressing OK. So if you want to change that, I mean, we'll come to that when we learn about distributions. Let's not get too deep on that. So the format key down here, let's exit out, so come back. If I type in 1.2, if I press format, it will change it to a fraction. It will give it to me as an implicit fraction, an improper fraction, sorry. Not a mixed number. There are things that you can do with that. Again, we'll talk about that later on. I think they're here maybe. But you can, if you press, you see above the format button in the turquoise, there's almost like a turquoise format button. If you press shift and that, there are things there that you can ask it to do. So potentially I can do that, yeah. So now when I put in a decimal and format it, it will make it, oh no, it made it improper again. And then I would need to do shift and that to have other options. So there's things in there. Another like thing that I don't think I've ever seen on a calculator before, so I think this is quite cool, is you can copy and paste stuff. I don't know how it's useful. You can also screen capture, like print screen. I'm not sure how either of them are helpful, but they're cool, right? So I'll quickly show you those. So say I wanted to copy this page. What do? You press shift, it's down here. So this is like your copy, and then this is your paste. So I press shift and then 0, and then you need to highlight what you want to copy. Oh, I've already messed it up. Okay, start again. You need your cursor to be a line, which I didn't have, I was highlighted. So shift and copy, and then you scooch across as much as you want to copy. Okay, fascinating. 1.2. Press OK, and then you can either cut it or copy it. I've tried copy, I haven't tried cut, so let's try cut. Yeah, so it disappears as expected. Come down here and press shift and then the paste, which is the decimal point, the turquoise above the decimal point, and it will paste it for you. To print the screen capture is the one to the right of that. So you've got copy there on the 0, paste on the decimal, and then like screen capture on the standard form, the times 10 to the power. So if you want to capture that screen, because obviously you'd want to do that, shift and then that, and it comes up saying capture. I've already done one. To access what you've captured, go into home. So get your apps up, and you want to go into memory. Notice my tabs, I've got main memory and then I've got storage memory. So I've just captured something and it's going to have stored it in my memory. So I need to use the tab button to get across to my storage memory. And then I've got capture. I think if I press OK, yeah. So it's got my 2 different captures. The only trouble is, I think I need to press this to get them. Yeah, load. It did this to me earlier. Wouldn't let me. Don't know why. So I'm going to go back. Let's try capture 2. Load, maybe. Invalid time. So it's cool, but doesn't seem to be working. I'll figure out why that is. I don't know. Back out. Right, other thing, if you ever have problems, like sometimes you've done something or you've set up your axes or you've just done something and you get stuck and nothing seems to be working like your friend's calculator is, go to, oh, I can't get out. Yes, I can. Memory. Go to System and Reset. So you can do a reset of settings, OK, or reset main memory, OK. I can reset anything here, right? So main and storage, I can reset all the things. If that fails, if you turn your calculator over, here you've got your reset button, which you can poke. I probably shouldn't poke a pen in it, but in reality, I will poke a pen in it. Like this, and it will reset everything for you. Okay. I don't know if you have to press and hold it for a little while, but yeah, anyway, okay, so we've kind of gone through all the things there I wanted to. Oh, there's one more I was going to show you. I'll show you this. I don't think it's that good, but it was another button on here that I was fascinated by. I was fascinated. Which is this button here. this variable button. Right, oh, I've reset the memory. Yeah, fine, go for it. Go for it, kid. Home, up there to calculate. To use this button here, this variable button, so we're in home, in the basic calculate app. I say I want to store the number 5, so I press 5. I want to like assign it to something, so I use this arrow here, which is shift and that, and then I press, I mean, you can do it like that by pressing alpha and then A, or you can press, let's try that, delete that. You can just press alpha and A, same thing, and then that's stored. So if I then press alpha and then A and press execute, it will bring up the number 5. So if I pressed alpha A times 2, it will work out 5 times 2. I'm not sure that I'm going to ever use that, but you never know. I think that might come into play in some helpful things with statistics as we get into statistics stuff. But oh dear, the calculator was a bit wobbly, but hopefully you guys saw that. All right, okay. So next video, we're going to talk about everything that we need, or not necessarily everything. We're going to start with chapter 1 from the textbook. Right, let's turn this off. Bye.